Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Some of you raised some questions regarding the default route and static route and static NAT and PAT, as well as about the Pppoe. So that's why I decided to do this recording. I hope this would benefit you in case you have any issues in this particular location. So let us start from Manama. Okay, so these are the different networks. Okay, so first step, I did the subnetting with the public IP. So NAT, Pppoe, and Manama. NAT I gave 6 host. Pppoe I need 6 host. Manama to ISP/30 we need 2 addresses. So the subnetting is done here. So from this subnetting, let me start with Manama to ISP. Let me configure the IP address for the 2 routers. So I go to the Manama here. So SE2/0 is the interface that connects Manama with the ISP. So I give the first IP address, okay, from the Manama ISP subnet. Okay. Then the subnet mask is 252, and I make this as 64,000. So let me configure the IP for the ISP. It is this interface. To 52. So now I have configured the IP address for this 2 interface, okay, from this subnetting. Okay, just go here. This is the public IP, the main network address. From that we need 3 subnets, one for NAT. We need 6 host addresses, and Pppoe we need 6, and ISP we need 2. ISP to Manama we need 2. So once the configuration is done, then let's go to the routing configuration. Router SPF10. To SPF10. So now we are going to add the different networks that are connected to the Manama. So as far as your project topology is concerned, it would be totally 6 networks that are connected to the Manama, but you will not add this one from Manama to ISP. You will not add that because you will configure default route. So I will, let's say for your project, let's say there are 2 serial links coming from the WAN, one from the server network. one from the Manama, two from the HSRP routers of the Manama network. So this makes five links that are connected to the Manama. So you have to find the correct network address for all of them and add here. So as far as my topology is concerned, I would add these networks to the OSPF network. Let me add the green, this WAN link. Okay, so /30 link, this one let me add. So network 192.168.30.0. Okay, 0.0.0.3 wildcard mask area 0. So be careful. You are not supposed to use the subnet mask here. Then this network is added in your project. You have to add two serial links from the WAN. Okay, here I have only one. Okay. Then let me add the server network. I think in the project also the same, like you have to add this network. So network 192.168. 40.0, 0.0.0.255 area 0. Then this network. Okay, for in your project, two HSRP routers are connected to this Manama. So you have to add both the networks of the from which are coming from the HSRP. So here I don't have HSRP, so I add this network 192.168.50.0.0.0.255. Be careful when it is coming from HSRP, the wildcard mask will be 0.0.3 area 0. So totally, as far as my topology is concerned, three networks are connected to Manama. I have added the three networks already. Okay, under the OSPF process ID 10. And the fourth one is this SE2/0 connects Manama with ISP, but you can see the network address is this. But I am not going to add that. Okay, rather I am going to configure the default route. So exit and configure the default route. So IP route 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0. Okay, then let's continue again. There is a small interruption. So we are configuring the default route, IP route 0.0.0.0, then 0.0.0.0. Okay, so I give this interface that is connecting the Manama with the ISP C2/0, or you can give the IP address of the ISP. You have two options. So once this is done, okay, just go to router OSPF 10. Okay, then default information originate. So we propagate this default route information to other routers. So once this is done, okay, then okay, you go to the ISP, enable, click so we are going to configure the static route, IP route. So when you configure the static route, okay, please take the NAT network address, static route, then take the mask value for the NAT, okay, then we are here. Then you can put like this interface is C0/3/0, or you can give the IP address of the Manama router. You have two options. So let me give the SE 0/3/0. Okay. So now we have configured the this default route also. So in case you get this problem, okay, you have one more option is even this is okay. You can give the IP address like 193.235.17, the IP of Manama. This is also perfectly all right. So once this is done, okay, we will configure the static NAT, right? So to configure the static NAT, we have to assign the IP address to these servers. So these IP addresses are going to be from the NAT. So 35.1, I choose for one server, okay, this server, and the other server, the IP is going to be 35.2. Okay, so let's check what is their private IP address. So, so the 40.10 is going to be mapped to this public IP, and let's check this IP address. And 40.20 is going to be mapped to this public IP address. So go to the Manama router. Okay, the command is IP NAT inside source static. Okay, then okay, static 192.168.40.10 is mapped to 193.200.35.1. Okay, and then IP NAT inside source, the second server 1, which has a private IP address of 192.168.40.20 is mapped to the public IP 193.200.35.1, 35.2. So this is the needed configurations for the static NAT. After that, you have to identify how many interfaces are connected to the router. So these are the interfaces that are connected to the router. FA0/0, which is connecting the server network to the Manama router, and FA1/0 is connecting this ping network to the Manama router, and then this is one more is here. So that is SC3/0 is connecting Manama with the WAN, and SC2/0 is connecting the Manama with the ISP. So here in your project, it will be like two serial links coming from the WAN, two serial links coming from the HSRP router of Manama, and then one fast Ethernet or gig Ethernet connecting Manama with the server network, and one serial link connecting Manama with the ISP. So we have to identify which is inside and which is outside for the NAT. So all these connections are inside except the interface that connects Manama with the ISP, that is outside. So go to the interface, each and every interface SC3/0, which is connecting Manama with the WAN. So you have to say IP NAT inside. So in your project, there are two serial links coming from WAN to the Manama, both are IP NAT inside. And then the server network interface FA0/0 server network. So IP NAT inside, and then the ping network, which is connected to the Manama, that is FA1/0 interface FA1/0. So IP NAT inside, and now this SC2/0 that is connecting the Manama with the ISP is going to be IP NAT outside. So even in your interface SC2/0 IP NAT outside. So again, I repeat, in your project, two serial links from WAN are inside, IP NAT inside, and two HSRP or IP NAT inside, and one server link is IP NAT inside, and this link that connects Manama with ISP is IP NAT outside. So with this, the static NAT concept is finished. And when we configure the PAT, the same process has to be repeated, but no need to do it again, this IP NAT inside, IP NAT outside, because it's the same for both. So now let's go and configure the path. So the first step in creating the path is that you have to create a pool. So ipnat pool, the name of the pool. So let me give the name my pool. Okay, so this will this will have the IP addresses. Okay, you know this snapped. So 35.1 is already used for one for static configuration, and 35.2 also used for static configuration. So we have free public IP addresses from 35.3 until 35.6. So these IP addresses can be used to create the pool. So 35.3 until 193.235.6. In case you don't want to have more than one public IP in that situation, like starting also 35.3 and ending also 35.3. So with one public IP, you are creating a pool. In case you want to create a pool with four public IP, then you can put 35.6. So this is the difference. So I am going to create a pool with only one public IP address. And then net mask. So net mask, just don't struggle, just copy. This is a net mask. So this is a net mask. Okay, so with this step, we have created a pool, and then we have to create an access list now. So I have like yellow and pink network, which needs path translation. And this green network already we have supported with static NAT configuration. So here the yellow and pink, they need the path configuration. So in your project, let's say you have so many networks in Rifa, so many networks in Muharrak, so many networks in Manama. All these networks systems, they need path translation so that the systems in these networks can access the internet. Okay. However, um, let's say we don't want the HR or the finance to access the internet, right? Okay, so that constraint also there. So I will tell you how to manage that constraint, how to implement that filtering. So we have, let's say, this yellow and pink. Okay, so yellow is 10.0 and pink is 50.0. But let me say I want the yellow to access the internet, but I don't want the pink to access the internet. So let's say this 50.0, okay, is the human resource department, and let's say this yellow is the IT department. So I don't want the HR to access the internet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a access list. Okay, so IP access list standard. Okay, so the access list patch. Okay, so I'm going to permit the yellow network, that is 192.168.10.0.0.0.255, and I did not include the ping network. So if I'm not including the ping network, then it would not get the path translation. Okay, it cannot access the internet. The systems in this ping network cannot access the internet. So I added only the 10.0, and the last implicit statement is deny any. So even if you don't include, it will be included automatically. So all the other networks that need path translation, um, if their network is not included here, then they will be denied. So this is how I created a access list. Now suppose you want to include, let's say you have one more network, 192.168, okay, 60.0/24. So you want to allow this network, then what you can do is, okay, you can add that here, permit 192.168 60.0.0.0.0.255 wildcard mask. So in your project, the list will be very big, but the list should not include the HR and the finance so that they don't get the path translation and so that they are not allowed to access the internet. Okay, so after this step, okay, you have to say which interface is IPNAT inside, which interface is IPNAT outside, but like SE3/0 connecting with the WAN is IPNAT inside, and FA0/0 is IPNAT inside, FA1/0 that is connecting with the ping network is IPNAT inside. In your project, okay, you can you can match with your topology, and SE2/0, okay, is IPNAT outside. But you recall that already we have declared them as IPNAT inside and IPNAT outside while we were configuring the static NAT. So no need to do again. So we have done two steps too so far. Okay, one is creating the pool and putting the public IP address, and then we created the access list with the name. Okay, then exit. Then I'm going to map the access list with the pool. So the command is IP NAT inside source. Okay, source list is patch, and the pool name is my pool overload. If you don't put the overload, then it becomes dynamic NAT. So if it is dynamic NAT, there are some shortcomings like uh, in this case, you have only one public IP in the pool, so only one system can access the internet, and while this system is accessing, all the other systems in the network, they have to wait in the queue. To overcome this, we add this overload. So what happens, it becomes port address translation for each and every systems from the inside network when they access the internet through the NAT translation, they are assigned their unique port numbers. So the port address translation takes place. Okay. So IPNAT inside source list path pool, my pool and overload. So this dynamic NAT configuration also done successfully. And this we don't need. Then let me show you how to configure the Pppoe. Okay, so I put the Pppoe here, and I put two modems. I put a PC here, and I put a server. But in your project, you are asked to put two PCs. So I connect, then go to the phone connection, port 0 to modem 4, and from here, fast Ethernet to port 1, and go to phone, port 0 to modem 5. And then from here, Ethernet 6 to Giga Ethernet 0/0. Then go to Cloud 0, config, go to DSL, select the modem 4, add, and select the modem 5 and add. So after this, let me show you how to configure the Pppoe. So go to the ISP to configure the Pppoe, config T. So create a broadband group, BBA group. Okay, so broadband group for Pppoe, and let me give the name as my group. Then associate a virtual template with this group, virtual template 1, and exit. Then go to the virtual template, virtual interface, virtual template 1, and then IP unnumbered. Okay, so IP unnumbered. And what is the interface number? The interface is giga, right? So put giga and 0/0, the gigabit number. Okay, check this number. And then peer default IP address, AI address pool. So associate with the pool. So the IP address to the client machines are assigned from the pool. Then the authentication PPP authentication SHAP. This is also one of the examples for the security. So after this, you just exit. Then you create a pool IP local pool. Okay, so IP create pool and the name of the pool. My pool, be careful that you gave a pool name here, it should be matching. And in the pool, you have to put the public IP. You remember that we did the subnetting in the beginning. So, okay, leave the first IP address. First IP address I'm going to configure for this gigabit interface. So we will take the second IP address starting as a second one as a starting, and then this we have IP until 14 in the subnet. So these are the IP addresses which would be assigned to the client machines that are connecting to the Pppoe server. We have created the pool. Then go to the interface giga 0/0, and IP address. Okay, IP address, the first one in this subnet, that is 35.9 is the IP address, and Subnet mask is this. And then Pppoe enable. Okay, then group my group. Okay, then no shutdown. Okay, then exit username. Okay, like user. So you can say Pppoe1 username, password 123, username Pppoe2, password 123. So we have done with the configuration. Let's first check the configurations. So go to IP configuration DHCP and then go to Pppoe dialer Pppoe1, password is 123, connect. So it's connected. So once it's connected, you go here, then ipconfig slash all, and you can see that the IP address has been assigned successfully. So this is evidence that this is working properly. So you have to put this evidence in the document. Then let me go. So pppoe2, password is 123. It is also connected. So command prompt IP config slash all. So you can see it has got the IP address successfully. So if you want to access this um, the server, then the IP address is this stuff. Okay, now let me check whether the static NAT is working properly or not. So I'm going to access this system. So I go to the browser in the PC2 of the Pppoe teleworker. Then let me put this public IP 193.235.1. So I'm able to access this PC2. I mean this server 0 with this public IP from the teleworker 1 using the public IP. So you can see it's successful. And immediately you can put this as a screenshot in your document and show IP NAT translation. So you can see the NAT translation. Um, this is the local, this is a private IP address of the server, and this is a public IP address which is assigned to this server. And this is the remote system from where we accessed this service. This is outside local. So this is inside local is a private IP address, and inside global is a public IP that we have assigned that we have. So this is the inside global and this is the inside local. Now, how to check the NAT translation? So as well as there is one access list. Remember, there is one constraint that HR not allowed to access the public network while the IT is allowed to access the public network. Okay, so from IT, I go to this system and I go to the desktop, I go to the web browser. So I enter the public IP of this system. Okay, so 193.235.11. So I'm able to access from IT. Okay, I'm able to access this public network. So PAT also working perfectly. So this is the evidence that the PAT is working perfectly. Then I go immediately and I execute the same command, show IP NAT translation, and the evidence is this. See, um, so this system PC0, okay, PC0 system is this 192.168.10.10. Okay, then its port number, okay, is 1025. Then this system has got a public IP from the NAT translation PAT, that is 193.200.35.3, and its port number is 1025. Okay, so with this NAT translation, port address translation, I'm sorry, this system is able to access outside local. So this outside local 193.200.35.11. So PAT also working perfectly. This is evidence. Take the screenshot. And now let's say there's a constraint. You remember the HR and finance are not allowed to access the public network. Okay, so I go here and browser. So I put like 193.235.11. So you can see we are not able to access the public network, I mean this server, from the ping network, which is HR, because this network address is not included um, in the access list for the PAT. So this is the evidence. Okay, we are not able to access. So this evidence can be submitted as a proof. So um, that's all I have for this explanation. So in this we have quickly I'm sorry, in this I have shown how to can configure the default route, static route, Pppoe, then static NAT, dynamic NAT, and also how to control the traffic from inside network going to the public network through the PAT access list. Thank you.